Hi, it's First Lady here, and I am in the kitchen. And I just got off work, and I'm getting ready to go to Bible study at my church, and I'm going to cook a nice meal. So I'm going to make a sausage and shrimp gumbo, and I'm also going to make some cornbread muffins, and I'm going to fry some chicken. I know that doesn't seem like that all goes together, but I have some chicken that I need to cook. And many of you have said you wanted me to show you how to fry chicken. So I'm going to do that as well. So I'll be back in a minute. Let's get ready to start cooking. So I am making these cornbread muffins, and I'm just going to make sure that each one of the sections here has plenty of oil, and I'm going to put these in the oven because you know you have to have your pan hot. So I'm going to put these in the oven and let them warm. I have 2 of these that I'm going to do. So I'm just going to make sure it has plenty of oil for this cornbread, for the cornbread muffins, and I'm going to pop them in the oven and let them get very hot. And then I'll add the batter to them and bake them in the oven. So I'll be back in a minute to show you what that looks like. I am using my rice cooker because I want to have some extra rice with the gumbo. I'm just using the Zatarain's gumbo mix, but I want extra rice. So this is my rice cooker that I got for Christmas. And basically you just follow the package directions in cooking your rice. So we're gonna have gumbo over rice with cornbread, and then we'll have some fried chicken. Okay, this is my skillet that I'm going to use. I'm going to use my Dutch oven here. This cast iron. See how heavy it is. I'm going to use this to fry my chicken in. And so as you can see, it has a lid. I'm going to be using that to fry my chicken. And I have this Carlina pure canola oil. I use canola oil when I like to fry chicken because I want to cook it at a very high temperature. And I have chicken legs that I'm going to be cooking. So I'll show you that in just a second. I'll show you how I season my chicken as I get ready to fry it. Okay, these are my chicken legs. I'm just going to use some drumsticks. And I'm going to wash them off really good. And I'm going to put them into this clear bowl. And I'm going to season them with various seasonings. Of course, I use Dash, and I use... I typically like to use Dash seasoning, which looks like this. And then, of course, I like to use the Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. And Slap Your Mama seasoning. Onion powder. And I will use some regular black pepper. So I'll get the chicken cleaned and I will begin the seasoning process. So I will show you that in a minute. So I'm just going to show you how I'm washing off this chicken. Making sure that it's nice and clean. And some people, use a brine and soak their chicken for a couple of hours and season it and let it marinate. I don't do that. As a matter of fact, I don't have time to do that today. So obviously I'm not going to do that, but just want you to see the chicken is all cleaned. And now I'm just going to begin the process of seasoning. Of course, I'm using Dash seasoning. Dash seasoning. Onion powder. And you can be liberal with some of this, especially in terms of You know, the ones that don't have a lot of salt, because you really don't want to overly salt the chicken, but you do want to season it. I also use this Tony Chachere's, and I'm just seasoning. This has a little more flavor and a little more kick, so I'm just seasoning that. And once you flip it over, you could, you know, add a little more of the onion powder. Then, of course, the Slap Your Mama. Slap Your Mama is really good. It's a Cajun seasoning. So you have the Creole and the Cajun seasoning. So, and a little bit of black pepper. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish seasoning the chicken and I'll be back. I'm gonna flour it and then it's gonna go into the hot grease. Okay, I'm gonna show you my cornbread. I'm just gonna use Jiffy corn muffin mix, and it's easy, it's quick, because I am ready to go to church, and I am helping to cook for the fellowship meal. You see the eggs, and you see the 2% milk that I'm going to use in this bowl right here. I want to show you this though. Look at these eggs. It says, "This is the day which the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." From Psalms, you know, and it's Psalms, what is it? Psalms 118, verse 24. Isn't that a blessing to have that on the eggs that I buy? I love these eggs. You guys let me know in the comments if I got that verse right, because I can't see. It's kind of small. But it looks like it's Psalms 118:24. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. So I'm going to make this cornbread real quick. And basically, this is a big box that I got at Sam's. So I'm not necessarily going to measure it because I'm just going to eyeball it a little bit. I'm going to double the recipe, of course, because I'm making more for people that we're going to have for our fellowship meal at church. Isn't it wonderful? The Bible says, "Oh, how good and how pleasant it is when brethren can dwell together in unity." We love that, don't we? The fellowship of the saints, coming together, breaking bread over a meal, having the word of God. Isn't that important for those of us who love Jesus? So I'm just going to add this milk. And I always add the milk first. So this is a cup of milk. So I'm going to add that. And I probably will add more. So it may end up being closer to 2 cups. But I always add the eggs last, one at a time, because I just want to make sure that the eggs are fully incorporated. That's why I add them one at a time. But you can see that I'm going to need a little more milk to get the consistency right. So I'm just going to add a little more, maybe another ½ cup. We'll see. And I'm just stirring this. It's just Jiffy. Jiffy has everything in it. It has the cornmeal. It has the sugar in it, the baking powder, baking soda, all of that. So it's all ready for you. All you have to do is just add eggs and water. Okay? Well, I'm sorry, not water, but add eggs and milk. If I was making hot water cornbread, I would do just water. And it would be hot water. But you can see, as I'm stirring this, this is getting to the right consistency that I want it to have. So I don't think that I will need to add any more milk. So at this point, I will move the milk over to the side here. And I've already cracked the eggs. So I'm going to add them one at a time as I just keep stirring. And if there are any lumps, of course, you just, you know, basically just kind of keep getting those lumps out of there. Jiffy cornbread is really good. It's sweet. Sometimes people can, you know, complain about Jiffy. It's not real cornbread, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It's good because it's already sweet and it makes the best cornbread muffins. I mean, you just look for that box, that Jiffy box, America's favorite. It truly is America's favorite. And I've been making it so long, so I don't really have to measure it. I can just kind of look at the consistency of it as to know how much milk that I'm going to need. But you can follow the directions on the package. The other thing that I do is I add the hot oil. So that's what I do to kind of temper the cornbread batter. You see I'm adding the eggs. I'll start with 2 there. I usually do them one at a time, but they kind of rolled out on me. But it's gonna make a really good cornbread muffin batter. And I could make the mini muffins because I don't have to make them, you know, giant size cornbread muffins, because, you know, we're going to have the gumbo and we're going to have it over the rice. And so, you know, you don't need, you know, a big giant cornbread muffin, but, you know, everybody can just have one nice little mini corn muffin. But I'm going to keep stirring this, and I'm going to keep adding the eggs one at a time. So as I stir, as I mix it all together, you'll see how it comes together. So this takes a little bit of time, and I know you don't want to watch me stir all of this. So I'm going to finish making this and get all the eggs incorporated, and then I'll add the hot oil, and I'll come back and show you how to get it into the muffin pan. I'll be back in a minute. And if you guys want to know where I get my eggs, I got these eggs at Aldi. They're called Gold Hen. And I love this brand, as I mentioned, because it has the beautiful scripture, "This is the day that the Lord hath made," on it. So just so you know, I got them at Aldi, Gold Hen, large eggs. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I just want to show you the gumbo. Now, we are cooking several things today. I have made a sausage gumbo, and I'm going to add the shrimp a little later, but you can see I've got that bay leaf that's in there. I'll go ahead and pull that out. But what I did was I used a Zatarain's gumbo mix, and of course I used the turkey sausage, and of course I used stewed tomatoes, I used onions, green bell peppers, celery, and of course the mix already comes with the rice in it, but we're going to use more rice too. We're going to offer more rice on this recipe. So all the seasonings are in that Zatarain's mix. So I want to shout out to Life with Miss D. This is really her recipe. So go over and check out the channel Life with Miss D. She has a gumbo that she has done, and I'm going to put the description, all that information down in the description. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe and leave me your comments. But basically that's all I did. I just put that all in one pot, added the stewed tomatoes, the sausage, the onions, the peppers, the celery with the mix, and I added 1 box of unsalted chicken broth and another box of regular chicken broth. And that's all there is. And this is a great gumbo. So I'm going to add the okra later, and I'm going to add the shrimp later. So that'll be that. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I'm pulling out the muffin tins. They've been in the oven getting hot. So watch this little trick. Hear that sizzle? That's what you want to hear, because you are tempering your batter. So I'm just getting that as hot as it needs to be. Ooh, trying to avoid a mishap here. I'll just stir that. I'm going to get the other one out as well. And if you don't need all this oil, you know, you can definitely just pour it into another container. But I'm just adding some oil to kind of temper this batter. And it's going to make it really good too. It's going to keep your muffins moist, keep them from sticking too bad, but you can hear that sizzle. All right, so as I am finishing up incorporating that, then I'm going to go ahead and start transferring this batter into these muffin tins. Now, remember I said we don't have to make really giant muffins, so I'm not going to fill them all the way to the top, But as you can see, I'm stirring it. I've got the batter really smooth. A lot of those lumps and bumps are gone. And so I love this bowl. This is a mixing bowl my daughter got me. And she is so sweet. She got this for me for, I don't know if it was Christmas or Mother's Day, but they have the little lip on them. So basically you just pour. And that's what you do in each one. And it keeps you from having a whole lot of mess. So I love these bowls. Thank you, baby girl, for my bowls. But yeah, I just want to make sure I have enough for all of these sections here. So I may go a little easy because I still have another pan over there to do. So it may not be exactly even, but we'll see. We're making it work today because I am just getting off work and I am trying to go ahead and get this cornbread in the oven so we can have fellowship meal tonight at church. I tell you, fellowship is so important. That's how you grow together. That's how you can share with one another. You can encourage one another, lift one another up in the word. It's so important for believers to do that. If you're in a church where they don't really particularly promote fellowship, I don't know. I'll be praying for you. But I love my church, and I thank God for the people that are in my church who love to fellowship. So as you can see, I have finished pretty much getting all of these sections, muffin sections, with some batter in it. Some of them may not be exactly even, right? And so now I'll lay that in the sink, and now we're gonna get these in the oven. So I'll be back in a minute. I'm gonna keep cooking. We have some fried chicken that I'm gonna fry, okay? We have some chicken I'm gonna fry. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Okay, we are frying chicken. So you see my chicken here that I have seasoned. It's been marinating for a little bit. I'm going to just show you, I use my Dutch oven here. So I am going to pour this oil in this Dutch oven, and it is going to get hot, and I'm using the whole thing because I'm frying chicken, and I'm not necessarily covering it in the oil, but this is pretty much deep frying. So and I'm gonna let the oil get hot, and I'm gonna save this because I can pour the oil in that back in that container and throw it away when it's done. So while this oil is getting hot, let's go over here and let's use this flour that we have, and we are going to flour up this chicken. Now back in the day we would use a paper sack, and you know, mama and grandmama them used a paper sack, and I don't have a paper sack because a lot of times you can't even get a paper sack anymore in the grocery store. You have to buy them probably, but I'm just going to use this container here and just give it a shake. Give it a good little shake here, and you can look and see. The good thing about it is it's a clear bowl, so you can look and see if you have enough, and you can always add more. I like for mine to be floured pretty liberally so that we can get a good crust on our chicken. We want it to be crunchy, crispy, and so this is why we give it a good flour coating. Okay, a good flour coating. There's other things you can use. Some people use panko if they want it to be extra crispy, or you know, you can use a combination of different flours. You don't have to use this self-rising flour. You know, you can use some of the other flours that perhaps are a little bit healthier. But I'm just using my self-rising flour. It's the same flour that I use when I make my 1, 2, 3 biscuits. So if you haven't seen that video, watch that video because I use self-rising flour to make my 1, 2, 3 biscuits. They're so easy to make. If you want some good hot homemade biscuits, definitely go over and watch that video. Now, if you see any issues with your meat or anything that's not looking right, you know, now is the time you can just sort of go back over it and check and make sure. But it looks like it's pretty much floured pretty good here. So as that grease is getting hot, it's almost to the time to where I'm going to add it to that hot oil. Add the chicken to the hot oil. But you definitely want to make sure that your chicken goes into a hot oil in a skillet or a pot, a Dutch oven or whatever, with hot oil. Because if not, it's going to grab hold of that grease and your chicken will be too greasy. So if it's hot, it'll go right in, it'll fry quickly. And yeah, you can use flour to sort of check and see. I don't know if we're to that point yet, but I've got my grease up pretty high. And you can just take a little pinch of flour and see, it's not ready. Because if it was ready, that flour would, come right up to the top. And so we know now that the grease is not hot. The oil is not hot. All right. And some people use different oil, vegetable oil, but I use canola oil just because I like to have the chicken cook at a hot temperature when I'm frying chicken. Incidentally, if you want a vegan recipe, you can try my vegan chicken bites that I made. So if you're vegan and you don't want chicken, you can still fry, and have a really good chicken substitute using jackfruit. So watch that video if you haven't seen that video as well. So I'm gonna let this grease get hot, and then I'll come back and I will show you what it looks like as we put it into the hot oil. I'll be back. Okay, so for my gumbo, I wanted to show you what I'm going to do. This is Argentine red shrimp, wild caught. And this is the jumbo. You can see how big they are. So I'm gonna add these to the gumbo, and I'm gonna add a bag of frozen cut okra. And you can add corn if you want to, the frozen whole kernel corn. I don't really want corn in mine, so I'm not gonna add it, but just showing you this just in case you do. So I'm gonna prep these and get this ready, and it's gonna go into the gumbo. So I'll be back. Okay, the grease is hot. It might be too hot, but I'm gonna go ahead and add the chicken in, and I'm gonna try to use these tongs, but you can see as I'm adding the chicken, it is hot and ready for this chicken to go in this grease. I'm trying to do this as quickly as I possibly can, and it's quicker to do it with my hands so that I can have a little bit more control over it. I'm gonna add one more. You don't want to overcrowd your pan. And as you can see, I'll have 3 left in the next section. So this is just gonna have to cook. It's gonna fry. And when it gets ready, you can kind of hear it. It'll sound different as it is frying. So the sound will go down. It'll be more quiet. You hear how loud it is now? It's gonna go down, and then you know that your chicken's getting ready to be done. So I'm gonna make sure the fire is good on this, and I'm going to just keep watching it and turning it over till it gets ready to come out. I'll be back. I just want to give you a close-up of this shrimp. I got this shrimp at Aldi, and it is the Fremont brand wild caught Argentine red shrimp. It is raw, peeled, it's already deveined with the tail off. So this is beautiful shrimp. You don't have much to do. Once you take it out of the bag, you can rinse it and just go over it and make sure it's deveined and cleaned very well. And you can just pop this right into your gumbo. Just wanted to show you that. Okay, I just wanted to show you my gumbo. I have added the jumbo shrimp. If you can see that jumbo shrimp right there. I have also added the okra, cut okra. So you do that at the last, let that be your last step. And so basically, this gumbo is complete. And I'll just take the remaining bay leaf out because it offered up the flavor there, but we don't need it when it's time to eat. And this is the sausage and shrimp gumbo. All right, I'm going to show you how the chicken is cooking. It's time to turn it over. See how crispy and golden it's getting. Looking it over. Flipping it over as it's getting golden brown. Very crispy looking. You can see it. So I'm just going to keep watching it until it is time to come out of this Dutch oven when it gets done frying. Needs to be brown all over. It's probably going to end up being about 20 minutes. All right, I'll be back. Okay, the cornbread muffins are out of the oven. Look how good they look. And the chicken is almost ready to come out. I'm getting ready to take it out as well. So we are almost done. You can see our sausage and shrimp gumbo. So we are going to be having a great fellowship meal tonight. I'll be back in a little bit to show you the finished product of everything. Okay, we are ready to taste everything. This is the rice, as you can see, in my rice cooker, and it's just been kept warm. So I like to have gumbo over my rice. So as you can see, I have this bowl here. So I am going to pour some of this delicious sausage and shrimp gumbo. You can hear that chicken still frying, the last few little pieces. But I want to show you this gumbo real quick, just very quickly. I will put all of the details in the description. You can see the shrimp, the sausage, the okra, onions, bell peppers, celery. I put a bay leaf in there, and I use that Zatarain's mix. Ooh, this is going to be good. Take a look at this as I pour this over that rice. You can see all the juicy bits of sausage. So that is the gumbo. You see my cornbread muffin. I made a whole bunch of cornbread muffins. And I've got my fried chicken right here. All right. So just a little something, you know, that I put together. We're going to have fellowship tonight, but I'm going to taste it before I go to church because I want to make sure it's good. So let me just taste this gumbo real quick. Ooh, and it is very hot, but it is delicious over this rice. And look at that shrimp. See how big I use that jumbo shrimp? Don't forget to try this recipe and let me know how you like it. That's so good. I gotta get one more bite. You can taste all the flavors in this gumbo. Here's a little bit of the sausage. What's good? That is delicious. Take a bite of my cornbread. You can see that cornbread muffin there. Moist, sweet, very good. And lastly, my fried chicken. If you want to know how to fry chicken, this is it. And I hope you like this recipe. Share this recipe and give me a comment and let me know what you think about this fried chicken. And if you have fried chicken, you know, on your own, and see how well you do with it. Because fried chicken it's a little bit of an art to it. So I hope you try it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All right, so take a bite. You can hear the crunch, crispiness. I apologize for talking with my mouth full. This is gonna be so good at church tonight. So, don't forget, try this recipe. Let me know what you think. I'll leave all the details in the description below. And I hope that you enjoy this recipe with you and your family and your church. And I hope most of all that you be blessed.